smoking cigarettes and weed and drinking beer, on top of that. I still do that. So, it's a struggle, and it sucks when you're used to eating something that's processed, because everything we eat's processed and there's so much stuff in it that we're not supposed to eat as people, but yet the FDA is like, "Hey, eat this because we said you can."
You're gonna love this.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to hear it.
So yeah, you said you lost 100 pounds.
I found this random book. I was actually, like I sometimes do when I randomly get an idea, I go find a doc for some script I'm writing for a video. And I looked up food isn't what it used to be, because I remember a doctor saying that on YouTube, and I saw this book, Food Isn't What It Used to Be, and it's a Christian book, and I'm like, cool, add to cart,
Okay.
right? And this person blew my mind right away, because they basically said what you just said, Scott. And I highlighted it. It's like at the beginning of the first of the book, it says, "We seek help from an industry that is guided by a monopoly that cares more about profits than the food we eat."
This is definitely true, and if I may interject real quick on that, recently I just watched a documentary that talked exactly about this, and in India, I guess Domino's, I guess McDonald's, I guess all of them are going to India and pumping out food that has like 50 grams of fat in it and no nutritional values on the back of it. So now India is being exploited by the food industry, just like you're talking about right now.
I believe it.
So you asked me about how I lost 100 pounds, right?
Yes.
And it started with, I'm engaged to this woman, and we go to Kohl's and to buy new clothes because my clothes didn't fit anymore. And I found out I was 48-inch waist, and I said, I'm not buying anything today. And I didn't know anything about working out. All I was using was one of those ab roller things, right?
Oh, yeah, I had one of those.
And I just upped that to like 4 times a week. And I'm like, this is fine. But then we split. And just like anything, you find that stuff to occupy your mind and your time so that you can get over the relationship as best as you can. She kept coming back to me for almost a year with emails or calls accusing me of stuff. Like, what is your problem? We're over, right?
Yeah.
And then I thought about it. I was like, wait a second. The dude that she's with now probably doesn't treat her like I did. I made sure she was okay every day. So I kept talking to my friends and family about it until somebody finally said, you had to make sure she was okay every day? That means she was messed up for reals. Okay?
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's because I took her burdens. I didn't mind. It was part of me. That was part of my life. And then someone else, I'm telling this story to different people until I get, like a good idea how to deal with it. And someone says, take that energy you now just found that is that issue and direct that to helping yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm like, okay, what I'm going to do? I know something that's bad, but people keep telling me about, and that's high fructose corn syrup, because I was having 2 to 3 pops a day. 48-inch waist a year and a half ago. I didn't like that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, that high fructose corn syrup, people will tell me pop does that. So what I did was I bought the real Coke with sugar, Jones Soda, and a couple others, right?
That's a good brand.
And my ex was still coming over almost a year later to get stuff out of the apartment. It was ridiculous. I'm like, you can have the pop if you want it, put it by the door. Because I love flavors. So it's like 10 different flavors of pop. She took it all and gave it to her nephews. And
Right.
I found that within 2 weeks, instead of having 2 to 3 pops a day, I was having 2 to 3 pops a week. And that is because the amount of serotonin that high fructose corn syrup gives your brain is like a drug response, is so much higher than sugar. Right? So I'm like, well, damn, I was telling people about this, like telling people about my victory over high fructose corn syrup and how I found that it's in bread. Now I only buy this one kind of bread because it's got sugar in it instead. And someone says, eventually you're going to quit that bread. And I'm like, what? And it said, try to find anything that's processed sugar. and replace that with something else. I'm like, what do you mean? And she says, do you eat cookies? I'm like, yeah, I love Oreos. Oreo double stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, do you know any good cookie recipes? I'm like, yes.
As if that's a question, of course.
Right. So I had this like idea of a cookie recipe that I always wanted to try. And I ended up calling them monster cookies when I figured it out. And there's like these cookies that are like this big around, and they got dark chocolate, white chocolate, and butterscotch morsels in them, and they're full of sour cream and butter. And I made those, and for 2 weeks, that's what I ate instead of Oreos. And then all of a sudden, I was like, I don't even want cookies anymore. I'm like, what else can I quit? And I'm trying to sing, because back then I was focusing on my music, and my voice was cracking, and I smoked a cigarette like once or twice a month. Cigarettes went...
I wish that was me right now. I wish that was me, man. You have a really good mental fortitude then.
Cigarettes went in the trash. And then one night, I'm upset again because thinking about the past with my ex, and I'm like...
Sounds like me.
Alcohol went down the drain. I'm like, I can't believe I'm this person.
Couldn't do that, though. I couldn't drink alcohol when I'm already depressed, and I know that. Like, I'm good at knowing that.
Yeah. When I drink out, I like to joke and say my sorrows don't sink when I drink; they float. So
I like that.
The alcohol was just for occasional, just wanting to chill, right? But I poured it all down the drain. And I'm like, what can I do next? And I was telling this to another friend, and he told me about the keto diet. And I said, yeah, you do look thinner than you did a few months ago. And I kept coming back to him with questions every day. He didn't mind. He told me.
Right.
And
yeah, go ahead.
And he told me about it, and he says, no, you got to keep your sugar under 3 grams. I'm like, all right, fine. And I was letting my stocks in my fridge go down.
Right.
And he's basically like, that's cool. Tell me how it goes. And then I only had one like carb ingredient left in my fridge, and that was tortillas, because I love to make eggs and lunch meat and put them in tortilla wraps. Right. And I just threw them away. Got in the car, drove to the grocery store, spent 2 hours walking around, reading the ingredients of all my favorite stuff, and only putting stuff in the cart that had, like, really low carbs and 0 sugar. I spent $200 that night. Mind you, now I spend about $60 a week on groceries.
That's really good. Damn.
No, that's really good, because I probably spend about 100 or 80.
Hey, Halo, disable and re-enable your camera. But
got you right now.
I spend 300 every 2 weeks for me and my wife.
But the reason why you spend so little is because in the beginning you spend a lot, because the keto ingredients are more expensive than carbs, right?
Right.
But what you don't realize is that keto foods, a little bit of carbs, some protein, a whole bunch of fat, is energy that lasts you all day. You don't have to go back every 20 minutes and have a snack.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Like that feeling of being full. Sometimes I often don't feel like I feel like that all the time. You know what I mean? Like really full and content for several hours. I always find myself snacking, like you said.
See, here's my problem. This is my problem. I get off of work. I deal with stress. I have a friend. I'm like, he's a great guy. I've known him for 10 years. It's like an escape, and then I drink beer over there, and then I don't eat food because beer fills you up because it has so many calories in it.
Has yeast in it too.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So my weight loss wasn't because of food. It was because I was eating at the wrong times. Like instead of me eating like a normal dinner at like 6 or 7 at night, I was finding myself eating at like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah, I've been there.
And then going to sleep and then doing the same thing for like weeks at a time. And, sure enough, 8 months to a year went by and I'd gained like 60 pounds. I was like, holy shit.
See, that's the problem with me is I can't gain any weight. Like I'm trying to gain more toneness, you know what I mean? And I burn that stuff so fast.
Well, see, that's why my other question is that my metabolism is slow as a donkey. How is yours? Robert, is your metabolism, was it fast?
It's real slow, really slow.
Really?
I check the weight every day, and that lets me know how what I ate yesterday is doing for me a little bit. So right now I'm doing an experiment, something you really shouldn't do, which is chicken and broccoli only for 30 days.
Okay.
Chicken and broccoli for only 30 days. Damn.
And yesterday,
tell.
I felt really queasy and stuff. I know I'm not sick. I know it's
Robert.
my body doing stuff. Yeah, I know. You're one of the YouTubers I saw with the mic, and that's why I got that model.
Yes, dude, this is a good mic. It's a good mic, but continue.
Yeah.
So I was feeling queasy, and I don't eat carbs that much, but I went to the vending machine, and I had 4 packets of Cheez-Its. Because I'm like, whatever that acid is in my stomach, I don't want to feel that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. Once in a while, maybe like once a month, I'll get like that. It just depends on what I eat, really, though.
It was because of the experiment, and it's all going to be in a video so people know whether or not they want to try that. But, I mean, Christian Bale, every time he has to lose weight for a movie, that's what he does.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
All he'll
Yeah,
eat
he
is
does.
chicken. That's it.
It's true. We all know he's really Batman in real life too.
The other thing that
Yeah.
I did was I've been like putting different hot sauces on chicken, mixing hot sauce into mustard and dipping my broccoli in that.
I gotta try
good.
that.
And one day I'm like, this normally doesn't happen to me because my heat tolerance is so high for hot sauce. And I put ghost pepper and Trinidad Scorpion and another one and habanero all into mustard.
Shit.
But mustard tames it a lot. So it's
Yeah,
not
he's
that
right.
hot. But
Just like when I burn my work at hand, I use mustard all the time.
Oh, really? That's cool. But
yeah, they taught me, like at my last job, they taught me that. They said, oh, just put mustard on it. I was like, mustard? Really?
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, and it works, dude. It works.
But what happened to me was so weird because there's nothing in my stomach to process except hot sauce, chicken, and broccoli.
Right.
So I started getting upset stomach that night, and I had to, go to the bathroom and have the sharts. And it burnt coming out, and I'm like. So and the next day I spent $100 on different hot sauces that were tamer, and they're not even in yet.
See, I last year, the year before, I bought like 30 hot sauces from Whole Foods, and it was like all different ones from different parts of the world. And some of these hot sauces were insane. Some of them made my urine dark. That's how hot it was. So
that's funny.
Yeah. So weight loss is definitely something that I'm getting on more. I've cut back on beer. That's all it is just beer. And then once that's all gone, I know I can lose 50 pounds within like 3 or 4 months easily. That's the only thing holding me back. But admitting it, like Robert said in the beginning, admitting the problem is part of the whole process, and it's hard. You're not gonna.
Don't ever beat yourself up for failing if you try to do it, because failing is part of the path to success.
Yeah.
You have to go back, try again, look at how you failed and why. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do.
Just like flipping an omelet at my work without messing it up.
Exactly.
Like, honestly, that stuff is really hard to do. But anyways, is there a few more things you guys would like to wrap up on this topic before we start proceeding to our next one?
No, I'm good.
I'm good. Any viewers watching, I've got 2 videos, how I lost 100 pounds and how I lost 100 pounds part 2 are on my channel, and that's my channel.
I can link them in my comments down too. Just send them to me after Discord after the Discord call or whatever.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, we'll go ahead and move on to our next topic then. Let's talk. Oh, this will be an exciting one. So my first topic is, I want to talk about video games first of all. So our first one is World of Warcraft on console feels closer than ever before. So with that said, with the recent, buyout of Activision from Microsoft to Activision, does that technically mean that they now own Blizzard, right? Correct?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I thought. Okay, so now what do you guys really think about that, and especially World of Warcraft possibly coming to an Xbox One console near you in the future? Man, I can't tell you how much I'd rather play World of Warcraft if I was sitting on my bed playing it and not just wanting to do anything that day.
Yeah, but here's the thing about World of Warcraft: it's always going to be pay to play, and that's
Yeah,
just
you're
something
right.
I still can't get around it. The games have been out since the '90s, and when it was in first development, it looked like, oh God, me and my cousin played it in his basement in Maryland. It looked like it didn't look like it does now. It really looked really old school, man, like like RuneScape shit. And then now it's like people don't realize what it originally birthed from.
Right.
Original World of Warcraft was the best one, but now it's turned into I don't know what.
Hiding skeletons and trying to appease other countries in a way and all this other stuff, and then changing the lore around to appease other, types of kind of people. It's kind of different now. It's a lot different than it used to be, is what I'm
Yeah,
getting from all of this.
I want to fight orcs and then go to a dungeon and kill a dragon and then get a loot or something and then dun, and then next quest, But that's why EverQuest, I swear, dude, even though it's not as good as World of Warcraft, obviously, is free to play, and their quests are actually worth spending 2 or 3 hours doing.
See, I still feel like that. I call me the biased RuneScape, old school RuneScape fan, but I still even think if RuneScape was on Xbox, I'd play it more too.
Would too.
But anyways, with World of Warcraft, I just meant like in general though, like what could that mean then? Does that mean that we're probably gonna get a lot more stuff that we didn't realize now with Activision having the helm of Xbox, Microsoft's Phil Spencer having their help? Do you think that possibly the Call of Duty series will get better? Do you think that a lot of other games are going to start getting better? Maybe even another reboot of StarCraft eventually, so on and so forth. I mean, you guys basically get the idea.
Fingers crossed on the StarCraft reboot. That's my favorite one.
Well, some guy apparently.
Let me ask
Go
you
ahead.
this: what do you guys feel about a game that, instead of spending 3 or 4 hours a day for 3 weeks and you beat it, you have to spend all of your off time on it, and you get to a certain point, and then they reset everybody in the game. You have to start from scratch.
Sounds like Rust.
That's World of Warcraft.
Oh, you're right though, because you have to make a new character and wipe the slate clean.
Every time.
See,
So my second thing, it's like normally when Microsoft buys out a gaming franchise, or the franchise, IP, they leave it alone. They let them run stuff themselves. But Blizzard is definitely an organization that's due for a complete overhaul.
Overhaul, yes. Correct.
Fire everybody and get rid of all bad habits.
Bobby Kotick as well, which is still somehow shockingly still in charge of this whole Blizzard thing, and he should have been gone a long time ago.
yeah.
And it's like, whoa! I don't even. The reason why I never played online games is because I didn't want to get sucked into that black hole. And I've had friends tell me about people they knew that did. So, and the other problem I'm seeing is Microsoft's got to stop buying stuff up.
They're trying to compete with Disney now. It seems like, you know what I mean. Like, who's to say that Xbox doesn't buy like EA next? EA, I feel like, is another company that's long due for another overhaul, and same with Ubisoft. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ubisoft needs a whole redux. They do.
No, seriously, like they need like Microsoft's funding. Well, who's to say? Okay, now this will be perfect. What is Sony going to do to clap back at this? Because now Sony has a little bit of has to worry a little bit now.
Dude, Sony's screwed. Here's why. Xbox just now officially made like half of the games you have to pay for online free. And then two, still $1 a month for unlimited games.
Mm-hmm.
Unlimited game, that Game Pass I was telling Robert about, the $1 a month thing.
And Sony was making me trying to make me repurchase games I already owned on previous consoles.
No, I don't think so.
I was like, really? I'm going to Google how to homebrew this console right now. You know what? If you're going to do that to me, You're gonna charge me $10 for something I spent $50 for in 1996.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah.
I don't. I think Sony has worry. They got to
I
worry.
think they do too, but there is one thing that I will admit that still allows me to feel more for Sony is I still feel like genuinely that it's more protected than Microsoft is. You say one bad thing on a message on Xbox, your account will be permanently banned and all your content will be seized. And Microsoft is very cutthroat, like Disney, when it comes to like family oriented gaming fun for
Really?
everybody. Yeah,
Oh.
definitely.
That might
are.
be a selling point for me because Reddit and Facebook are just so toxic.
I mean, yeah, I mean, to definitely to each his own, but I understand exactly where you're coming from. But with me, I mean, just speaking for me, obviously, like, I feel like if somebody's antagonizing you and they're just looking for it, you know, I get it. I don't know. I guess that's my own personal little critique. But I mean, Robert might be right. Maybe that's where the next generation is just more or less headed. I mean, I'm not
Right.
really the future fortune teller of that, but I just think, in my opinion, that that's something that Sony will have kind of over Microsoft. While Nintendo kind of has the same approach in a way, because Nintendo, like, yeah, their stuff is overpriced, whatever, but at least indie developers get a chance on Nintendo's platform.
Which one were you saying was the one that was cutthroat about banning people? Was that Sony or
No, it was Microsoft.
Okay.
Microsoft is
Yeah.
very, very, very apparent that they're family friendly.
I believe all social networking platforms need to get that way.
I mean, okay, that's fine, but I feel like, I mean, might have a point, but at the same time, is too much freedom of expression revoked? Is
right.
I mean,
there should be freedom of speech, but for example, someone shared with me a meme off of a Christian page,
mm-hmm.
and it was a sexist joke. So I posted a comment and I said, I don't like sexist jokes and I don't feel that it has a place here. I was harassed by 3 people. 2 of them called me names and 1 of them bleeped out a cuss word by putting special characters. So
damn, just because you expressed your own opinion, though.
And I quote myself. I said, I don't like sexist jokes and I don't believe that they have a place here. How is that triggering enough for anybody to want to go that far when they respond to me? It does not make sense.
Let me tell you why. It's the fact that have these platforms that put rules and restrictions. You had assholes out there. Oh, I want to say this just because. Oh, it's an American. It's just like, well, were you in high school, dude, or what? Like, that's the problem. There's people that ruin it, and it's those jackasses out there that sit there behind a keyboard and whatever, and think that they're ruling the world from their obvious stupid sexist.
But is there such a thing as slander and just criticizing in a more appropriate way? That's the thing that I'm.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And the thing is that, okay, you can have the platforms not act unless you report them, but Facebook has never responded to me in a way that we've read your report and we've told the user don't do that again. They never have. They always said, no, this does not violate our community standards, even if the person is posting nudity.
Thank you. You're right.
Well, YouTube has the same problem too. Naked yoga pants instructor. Look it up on YouTube sometimes because they have the same problem too.
They're basically. I can assume for what you're saying, they're just wearing skin-colored tights.
Yeah, but I mean, I've also seen videos where people like pull out like, you know, big thingies that are made of plastic, if you catch my drift, and they start like demonstrating it, and it's like, okay, well, you know,
none of that's educational.
No.
It's entertaining, but honestly, I believe that should be on its own platform, not.
Yeah,
on
agreed.
YouTube.
Yeah, me too. Same thing. Should be on its own platform. But the problem with all these websites, like Robert said, it's more or less the guidelines and the people who are like Twitch, for example, or their TOS. You have all these rules all these people break them, but they only ban the ones that aren't making the site money.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
You
And
know,
it's the
and it's
same.
all about
That's
that.
the same thing for Facebook, because likes and shares makes Facebook money.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
If you break it down, Facebook is like, I can tell you how many people liked some random meme about arguing about what kind of toppings go on a pizza. That'll be $5,000.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, see,
200,000 shares and
yeah.
whatever, dude. I totally understand that.
Microsoft with this whole the World of Warcraft thing coming to console, they're gonna keep their guidelines strict for family friendly because it's making them the most money right now. The bang for their buck. Where are they getting at? Oh well, we're making $10,000 every month doing it like this. So let's keep doing it like this, and that's what it is. They have people that are hired to sit behind a computer like for 18 hours and just watch the algorithms of everything and watch the numbers and see which plays out better for their company.
Oh,
You know?
hi, BDoc14 and JJ64 in my stream.
You're JJ64. Hey, what's up, JJ?
Yeah, one of them's from my son's stream, and the other one's actually a friend of mine. But I'm not going to call him out by name because he has a different name for his handle there.
Gotcha.
It says constructive criticism.
Anyways, but if you guys don't have any more topics to talk about on the whole Activision,
Oh, no,
social
that-
media, whatever, I am ready for whoever has the next topic. If you guys want to go ahead and roll with that.
Yeah, I got one. And this is one I've been saving since the last inner circle. Is H3H3 really paying guests when saying they're not? This is a whole thing.
More controversy on the almighty Mr. Ethan Klein. Oh man, in recent times have I heard a lot of controversy on him actually.
So what's going on right now is that they're claiming we don't pay people on our website to come on and talk on podcasts. Well, here's the thing. I'm sure Robert, you know who Shoe Nice is, right? The crazy guy who okay, oh well, I have to show Robert this guy. He basically called them out because he was on a podcast and didn't get paid, but he's been on Shoe Nice has been on Taj.0 and like Viceland and all these TV shows. And Post Malone and all these other people came on it, and basically Shoe Nice said it's bullshit. They're not paying those celebrities. There's no way you're getting
Or is it in case they just didn't pay him?
and
You know what I mean?
Dr. Disrespect was on their show too. And they always say and of course they're probably paid to say it. Oh, we didn't get paid to do it. And my whole question is why are Ethan and Neela bullshitting people like us, out in the free world, like, oh, that means that we can get on their podcast. If it's really for free, that means that me, you, and Halo should be able to email.
Yeah, but they're not gonna just have anybody. I mean,
that's the whole point. So we obviously all know it's bullshit that they're paying their guests to come on. Like, for example, on Twitch, there's people that have huge streams for sports events and stuff, and they're paying those people to come on their streams and be there for like an hour to 2 hours. So my question to you, Robert, is where does the secrecy of all this shit come to an end? Because we all know it's not just H3H3 that's doing this.
Well, if you ask it that way, at first I realized what was going on. It's live streaming, but it's from a production company, which means they have money. So to answer your question, where's it all going to end? And on the one hand, we've got the new generation being brainwashed into not being able to do anything coherent, like little kids being using TikTok to commit felonies. But then on the other hand,
you're right.
A lot of these people, a lot of my generation is waking up. Halo's generation is waking up. He's a little bit younger than me. And then other people some children are already awake because information is readily available. Like you and I talking about this, I never heard about it before. I Google it and I see a face I recognize of Ethan Clean. Doesn't he have that YouTube channel?
H3H3, yeah.
That's him.
Yeah, but also recently, I guess apparently he's been doubling down on like things he's done in the past, and apparently people are saying that the old Ethan was a lot different than how he is now, and he's just trying to appease the masses, kind of what like Scott's trying to say in a way too.
Yeah, yeah, and
Like,
that's
is he just gonna crumble on his own self, or I mean, where is this exactly going, you think?
Maybe it's a thing where you get so famous that, like Mark Zuckerberg, he has to please his shareholders, because when he started, he didn't want there to be any money involved. He didn't want any ads in Facebook, right? And now he's to a point where he has to keep spying on you. He has to keep making you argue with everyone else because he's got all these shareholders. And this guy, maybe it's just like his subscribers and the
He
type of
probably does
content
have
he has.
shareholders, though. You're right. He probably does.
Because it's a production agency now, right?
Yeah, you're right.
I know.
Yeah.
I learned before I was a YouTuber from learning about the channel Smosh, if you guys are familiar with them.
Yes, just watched the fall and rise of them just the other day, actually.
I'm never going to a production agency, ever. Ever.
Because they tell you can't do this, and that's probably what's happening to Ethan, right?
Yep.
Except Ethan is being the guy he is, and he's just like, okay, well, all right, I got to keep doing what makes everyone happy.
Yeah, so he's stuck between two things.
And he's going, well, if I do this route, I get less of this, but if I do this route, I get more of this. So what?
But he's losing himself in the process, though, is what he doesn't realize. Like, is it really worth it, Ethan, whenever there's just so much continuous backlash against him? And then they're always on Twitter just talking all the fucking time. You know what I mean? And, well, I got to retract this tweet, or I got to delete this tweet because I said something.
Well, to Ethan, it obviously is worth it because he hasn't changed it yet.
I just think that in the next couple of years that Ethan will just kind of just subside into the community of YouTube, and he's not going to be as on top as he was.
Like, I never see you and Robert selling out ever. That's the thing. Like, there's people who have the talent, like, Robert, for YouTube, and then just throw it all away when they get a deal or whatever, and it's like, oh yeah, well, now you can't do this anymore. And
also keep in mind, dude, he also knows Susan of YouTube. They're like best friends, and they talk all the time.
Yeah, he mentions it on his podcast. Like,
yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Like, me and Susan are best friends.
So he's obviously trying to appease Susan as well because he wants his videos monetized.
I wonder how many times he asked her something about how the algorithm works, and she's like, "That's classified."
Right, bro? Dude. Ethan knows more about this shit, and that's why he's changing his ways, and he's why his supporters even know, like, hey, dude, this guy is being a lot different than how he used to be. He's just not entertaining really anymore, because now he's like trying to please Susan now, and it's just stupid. It's like, well, then what the hell is H3H3 anymore then?
Well, now that you say it like that, there also might even be binding contracts with Susan and him saying, hey, if you have these guests, we'll throw you a bone and we'll let you have, maybe it's YouTube that's paying Dr. Disrespect and all these high-end celebrities come on, and Ethan's just getting a cut from it and not the whole shebang. I think that's what's happening.
That's what I mean. He's trying to make sure that he can keep doing, which I understand from a business perspective, but don't be surprised when people call you out on it, though.
Yeah, thank you. That was my whole point of that. It's just, when will all people on all streaming platforms who have millions of followers stop lying to people?
They won't, though, and you just have to get used to it and just not watch them, basically, right, Robert?
That's right. Just put your money where your mouth is, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's all. That's pretty much all I wanted to say about that. But yeah, that's
perfect. And then I have another topic for us right away. So this one's up Robert Jean's alley completely, which I know he'll appreciate this one. SoftBank founder Masayoshi Son lost $130 million on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, as you guys know, is gone down to 36,000 right now, Robert? Almost 26 again.
Yeah, I could check right now. Bitcoin is at...
How do you lose that much money?
It's because it's bad right now. It's like the economy, the virus, the whole drama with Ukraine and everything else. It's scaring Bitcoin right now.
36,231. Well, it is volatile, and
No, he's right.
it's imagine stocks. So stocks, people complain, "Oh, my stock dropped last week." Where you're supposed to think the long game. How do you think this particular product is going to work? How is it going to last? And then is it going to sell? And then you got to watch news. Are they selling out to a company that sucks, doesn't have any good products? It's going to dip. Or politics. They got a new president who's more into electric cars than the last one. So I want to, buy that stock, right?
Right.
But then in stocks, you got to wait the long game, and it's usually years until you see gains. Now,
Not if Dogecoin, you only see it in 5 months, though.
Right, exactly. It's like half a year you see your gain. So when people lose money, it's like, well, you invested at the wrong time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a risk. In 2019, I bought one half of an Ethereum at $300, and in March of 2021, it was worth like $6,000.
Wow.
Damn.
Because I was playing the long game. So what did I do with that money, those gains? I sold it and bought GPUs so I can mine some more.
Yep. There you go.
That's how I got 24 GPUs in this house right now. Do you think I bought 24 GPUs out of my blood and my sweat from my IT job? No.
Donating a lot of money for the plasma center, like going to like get money to get all this stuff would be ridiculous if you know what I mean. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, but if you exercise extreme spending frugalness, then you could get to where Robert's at right now.
That's what I'm trying to do, man. One day I'm gonna spend at least $1,200 and do it, because I told my wife about it. I said, you know how easy it is to do this?
Fuck no, Robert. Tell me it's not easy.
Mining is insanely complicated.
No, not the mining part. The getting the money together and all that.
Oh yeah. Well, here's an
part.
interesting thing is that you guys know what the Newegg shuffle is?
No, I don't. I do not.
Do you know how bots are buying up all the graphics cards, right? And then
yes,
people turn around and scalp them. Newegg has a shuffle. And most days of the week, Monday through Friday, not every day, sometimes they don't have it. But if you sign up for the shuffle and you have the app on your phone, they'll send you a text message. And you go on there and you can go through a checklist and say, yes, I want to be in the shuffle for this card, this card, this card, this card. And then about every 5 months or so, they'll say you won. And one of the cards you picked, you have until the end of that day to pay for it. Right?
Right.
This week, I won it the second time. First time, I need a 3080 Ti for editing. I need the VRAM, and I need the bandwidth, right?
Right.
For my sci-fi videos, man, 16 layers of, like, masked and cut pieces on top of each other making my software crash.
It requires a huge...
Yeah.
a huge mother brain, basically.
Yeah, the mother brain of the GPU and all that memory on it. And so the first time I won the shuffle, I got a 3070, and I have a 3070 Ti coming in the mail.
Wow.
My plan is to sell both of those at probably I'll undercut the scalpers a little bit so they'll sell fast. And
yeah, absolutely.
Then turn around with that money, and I'm going to buy a 3080 Ti at scalper price. Now, you say, I refuse. See, what people say is, I refuse to buy X at scalper price.
Well, yeah, because it supports the scalping and it never stops, though.
Well, it's never going to stop anyway, and I know how to
True.
I know how to support myself by being intelligent about what I'm doing. So I bought 2 GPUs.
Instead of morals versus logical, right?
Yeah. I bought two GPUs at MSRP. I'm going to sell them at scalper price so that I can get an even better thing at scalper price.
I love it.
That's smart. That's really smart.
I was telling, and I plan on doing a video on it earlier. How I
1 second. I'm going to use the restroom real quick. Continue, though.
I can continue. All right. Scott might like
1
this.
second.
I separate the world into 2 columns. category A or column A is things I can control, and category B is things I can. Wait, no. Category A is things outside of my control. Category B is things within my control. And a perfect example is Amazon Prime. You pay like $120 or whatever it is once a year to get your packages within 2 days, right?
Yep.
But I analyzed, and about 6 times a year, that's 52 weeks out of the year, so about 3% of the time, or less than 3%, they failed to deliver the package within 2 days, right?
Okay.
That's definitely under column A. That's outside of my control. So, so what I do is in column B, or column A, things outside of my control, try to identify patterns, right? So the pattern is it's at least 3% of the time it's going to screw up. What options does Amazon have available to me? They have chat, online chat, or they have the person call you. If you have the person call you, they have a 75% chance of fixing the issue. But if you have them chat you, they have a 10% chance of fixing the issue. But I figured out a pattern. You chat with them once, they say, okay, wait another day or two. If it doesn't arrive, let us know. All right. So then you wait a day or two. And then you go into chat again and say, it's not here yet. And then they'll say, wait another day or two. And you say, no, I've already waited a day or two. I can't do anything else. So then you have the guy call you, right? Immediately. You don't wait any more days. He's able to fix it. You're at that like 99.9% probability of having the guy fix it now.
Gotcha.
And at the end of the call, he says, do you need anything else? You say, I want to be compensated for my time. I've already spent 4.5 hours on this issue when I already paid for Amazon Prime delivery.
Right.
So then they give you Amazon credit. And if you do that pattern every single time, they ended up paying you back in Amazon credit more than what you paid for Amazon Prime.
I didn't know that. So you just say I want to be compensated for my time?
Oh, it's a longer story than that. You first use the chat, and they failed to help you. They tell you to wait a couple days, so then you wait a couple days, and then use the chat again. And then they tell you to wait a couple days, and you say, no, I've already waited a couple days. And then you have the guy call you, and then then he fixes it. And then you say, I want to be compensated for my time. So if you go through all these steps, and this is like over a year of me analyzing how they respond to different scenarios. Mm-hmm. And then they give you that credit. So that's how I separate the world. In column A, things are outside of my control. Column B, things that are within my control. And what I do, and this pisses people off all the time, coworkers, friends, family alike, I move things out of column A into column B. Okay. And people they're mad because I look like an overachiever. They're mad because I'm able to achieve things they can't. And whatever else you could think of, right?
Because you use that brain of yours in ways that most people won't.
Right. They don't. Oh, and that's right. The third one. They don't understand how I did it. Even if I explain it.
Damn, okay. No, that's good to know. That is definitely good to know because we shouldn't let Amazon off the hook necessarily, right? Good old Jeff Bezos.
Amazon does have its benefits, and I'll tell you what it is. The nonsense BS I have to go through at retail stores. Like Kohl's asking you 5 times to get a credit card when I already said no 3 times, and I just stared you down for number 4 and 5.
Number 4 and 5. Like, I don't want a Kohl's card.
Or Kroger, where you ask where something is, and a guy says, I don't work this department, and walks away.
Yes.
Or Kroger closing one entrance because of social distancing, so they're making everybody huddle together.
Yes, exactly.
You're stupid.
Counter.
I do not want to be in this building. You are so dumb. If something this obvious is being so blisteringly mishandled, what else is going on back here?
Sounds like a whole circus.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. And not only that, my keto diet is what got me on the Amazon in the beginning, because Kroger and Meijer, which is a store around here, y'all are probably not familiar with it, but they didn't have the stuff I wanted. Amazon was like, you want Quest cookies? We got them.
Yeah, Amazon accepts different kinds of retailers too. Like you'd be surprised what they sell on Amazon. It's almost kind of like an eBay in a way, but a little bit different.
I want to talk to Halo about something, if you don't mind me calling out your broke phone.
No, go ahead.
So
let's call out the broke phone. I'm ready.
The funniest part of it, so I'm gonna pick on you just so that the viewers will laugh before I move on, is how you go on Instagram and tell me my phone's broke, so it's so hard to respond to me, and I'm like, I've seen your PC.
That is true.
Instagram works on a PC. Just type.
No, he is right. He is right. But I'm often like just caught up in my moments, and then it honestly has been a struggle with my phone being broke for like 3-4 months now. It's been really fucking annoying, to be honest with you. Even running my clan, and I know it's like, well, the computer, but it's like not. I mean, some things are just easier when you're on the go and you don't have to just sit there, type of thing.
Yeah. I get you. I'm the same way. But if it's just a message you can send later, you can do it at your PC later.
That is true. That is absolutely true.
I'm going to talk about phones. Anybody viewing who's not subscribed to my channel, subscribe now. Because
yes, you guys subscribe to Robert Jean.
I am an anti-consumer. I will never buy an Apple product because it's one of the highest turnover products where they intentionally design it to where you have to replace it often. And
exactly.
I tried to buy things as close to forever lasting. Does that make sense? Perpetuity is the word. Will this last me the rest of my life? If not, how close to the rest of my life can I get it to last? Maybe I'll have to repair it someday, or maybe it's built well enough, right?
Right.
And all the smartphones I've ever had were used.
Yeah. See, mine for the last few years have not been used. Oh.
But even if you don't like used stuff, you can buy, like if you like Verizon or whoever, AT&T, doesn't matter. You go in the store and look at other models and keep certain features in mind, whatever you're into. Or you could go directly to Samsung's website and buy phones as cheap as $250.
That's what I do.
Right? Brand new. You tell them what carrier you got, or it's unlocked or something. But it's like the features you're going to look for is like if you want a headphone jack. My number one feature, headphone jack is number 2, is expandable memory. Because I keep all my photos and all my MP3s on there. My jams are on there, bro.
All my ROMs, too.
How dare a cell phone manufacturer say you don't get to keep your music from one phone to another unless you use our software to move it?
Well, Google just pulled a fast one recently because I had music on Google Music, which is an app.
Yeah.
And they were just like, well, we merged with YouTube. Sorry, all your music's on YouTube. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, though.
Yeah, absolutely not. It's always going to be an SD card for me. And the crazy thing is, my cousin helped me out. I was down and out in a hard way in 2010 when my Nova, Halo's seen it on my channel, it broke down in Oklahoma when I was on a road trip. And
his car.
Yeah, this is 2010. Smartphones are still kind of new. And he sent me his phone, a Samsung Moment.
Okay.
And it had expandable memory. I have upgraded the SD card since then by copying files. If you guys don't know how to use copy-paste, please go on YouTube and figure out how to do that. Because
basically,
people with iPhones have no idea how much easier it can be. But I've been copy-pasting or just transferring the card from one phone to the next phone for 12 years. I have music on this phone that was on that Samsung Moment. I have pictures on this phone that were on that Samsung Moment in 2010.
Wow.
Right. See, that my phones usually break by then. I usually break my phone somehow by then because I'm not having them in cases.
Get one with an expandable memory. Oh, and another tip is whenever you upgrade to a larger capacity SD card, take your old one and put it in a little clamshell thing and stick it in a drawer where you will always know where it is.
Right. You're right.
Because if you have one fail, you go back.
See, I have like in my old S9, I have my memory card still in there. It's just broke. The phone's just broke.
How's it broke?
It won't turn on, and the screen's damaged beyond comparison.
Maybe you can give that to me, and I'll fix it for funsies.
Oh, I'd love to see something like that. Yeah, because they're just sitting around, and it's kind of like...
Yeah, I got S7, one of my filming phones. I dropped it the other day, and now it's doing what you said. Because I broke the screen, and it won't turn on no more.
Yeah. I even have another one that I really wanted to get fixed because it wasn't even a bad phone. I think it was like an S8 or S7, like you were talking about. I still have that in the drawer. So I have an S7 and an S9.
Damn, dude. Jesus, you have phones. You need to get fit. You know, when the screen
I want to
cracks-
get them fixed so I could sell them, dude. Like, honestly. You know
Well,
what I
no,
mean?
not-
Because they're not bad phones.
That, and they have
Well-
really good screen protectors that you put on. You like tape this thing around your phone like a book, and then you open it.
Yeah.
And the front part has the screen protector, and you clean the screen really good, and then you lay it down perfect.
See,
Push the air out, and it's like whoop, you're done. And I've that one I broke didn't I should have put a screen protector on it, but like here's one of my filming phones. It's a Note 4, and it's got.
I used to have one like that. That was big though.
And it's got a screen protector. I've dropped this thing a dozen times, and I've replaced the screen protector once because instead of the screen cracking, the screen protector cracks.
Right.
Exactly.
And
It
literally,
makes it really good. Oh, sorry.
all I install on these is a voice recorder and open camera.
I'm gonna tell you what I did, Robert. You might like this. So what I do for my screen protectors is I know the old binders back in school that used to be see-through but like really thin plastic, almost
Yes.
flexible. What I do is I use that. How I do it is I take Gorilla Tape and I just basically double side it, and I use that as a screen protector. And you can just cut it out the size of the phone. Take your Gorilla Tape, cut it small for the corners of the phone. You just press it down, and Gorilla Tape is like super glue.
But then,
so
can you still touch the screen and type?
Yes, you can.
Wow.
So that is a little jerry rig thing, and my boss is one who showed it to me. There's Halo. Boss is like, yeah, I could show you.
See, what's wrong with my phone is like the middle right here just doesn't respond or doesn't work at all. Just the middle right here.
Bent. It looks like your phone bent.
Yeah, hold it from
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, it looks a little, maybe a little bit.
What model is that one?
This is an S10, I believe. So I need to get the whole screen just fixed because then it has the little black thing down there.
Yeah. I
Yep.
see that.
Yep. And you know what the crazy thing is? My son saved up money himself. People gave him a hand-me-down iPhone, and then he had me fix it up, and then he sold
Nice.
that, and his mom paid me for like some odd jobs around the house. It's like over 6 months. 6 months. My 12-year-old son saved up and got an S10.
Wow. Just like I have, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and they're really good phones. They're really, 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 really good phones. And I mean, like, downloading stuff is fast, super fast.
I have a Motorola.
See, I'm going to pay to get this phone fixed, and I mean, I might just eventually someday down the road sell it, but I mean, this thing needs a total it needs a total rework. It needs to be the front fixed, and then the back, as you can see. Now that's going to cost money too.
Because it's got
For me to
glass
even-
on the act.
Yeah, on the back. And like a simple case like this really protects it really well.
Yeah, it does. Those are really good cases. And you need to get a front cover. They sell cases with like a front thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, other than that, let me see if I have another topic, because I do have to get going soon for some other business I have to handle today before the day is over. Let's see. I mean, that pretty much covers my topics, at least for right now. Do you have another one, Scott?
You know, I do, but it's up to you if you want to talk. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, we can go for
Yeah.
one more topic. I'm definitely down for that before I have to leave.
Okay, we're gonna talk about the new Predator movie. I think it's a good ending topic. It's not too crazy. So I'm a huge Predator fan. I have been since I was like 5 or 6. Ever
Oh,
since my first first two movies when I was 5 or 6. I was in Pennsylvania. My uncle had a bunch of VHSs. Half of them were basketball because he was a coach and coached basketball. But Mad Max, the original one, and Predator. And I fell in love with Predator. I was like, this is the best shit ever. It's a giant alien going around the woods, just skinning people alive, and it's a simple story. So
right.
over the past few years, we've had a very terrible hit and miss with the sequels and all the stuff they've done with AVP. So this one is supposed to be a prequel set in the Comanche Nation 300 years before anything, and it's supposed to be the first ever arrival of the Predator on Earth. The thing. And it's going to come out on Hulu, which I don't have yet.
So it's not going to even hit the theaters, then it's just going straight to Hulu?
Yeah, because all these streaming platforms, they're taking advantage of the fact that all these streaming platforms are making so much money right now. So yeah, and it's gonna be like the
I
original
mean,
one.
that doesn't really mean anything to me. I mean, it must not be good enough to hit theaters then, right, Robert?
Maybe
Oh.
they're doing different things with different movies.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
That's a
and
very good
you're
point.
right. Like, whichever the one was the one where the alien, finally they had a pred alien. If either of you know what that is,
Yes, I do. Oh yes.
they finally had a pred alien, but it was like a bunch of writers arguing over the script. Is what that movie looked like.
I don't look like this. I want his tongue to be 10 inches long.
Yeah, it was. It was terrible. It didn't even actually look accurate from the comic books and stuff in the video games. It really didn't. But yeah, Robert, go on.
When I saw that movie, and the other thing that upset me was that they played too hard in keeping pregnant women alive and killing their babies inside of them. I'm like, there's a certain level of darkness that you have in sci-fi horror, and that is not it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's a better way to do it. They did it in the freaking third movie.
Yep.
Alien 3, they did it right in that one. She was not pregnant until the alien put it in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa, why is there not another Alien versus Predator, though?
Because they were terrible movies, and the writing and the.
I'm sorry, what's that, Scott?
Robert's right. They got backlash because they couldn't come up with the right script. Can you hear me? Is my internet crapping out? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, there we go. I was going to say that that the Predator movies, the AVP ones, the writing is so bad, and this one they're saying is going to be like the original one. It's going to have one role, a lead role. It's going to be basically a lead role fighting the Predator with sticks and twigs and knives, like the original Predator. When Arnold was at the end, when he ran out of all of his weapons, and he was basically had no choice but to resort into barbaric
fisticuffs with the Predator.
Just yeah. So my thing is,
I'll have to use this rock if I have to survive. I will survive.
I was gonna say, back to what Robert said about it, like this all really has to do with the writing and how good the writers have ideas, and if there's fights in the writing room, like, oh, my idea is better than yours, or this, that, and the other. That's the whole question.
I have a topic that I've been wanting to talk to Scott about since the last stream, even if we only touch on it a tiny bit. And that is, I don't even know how many guitars in my life, and teaching myself how to do fix-ups and setups is what it's called. And I know a lot about it. but I'm building a guitar kit, and for me, it's taking years because I'm able to do all kinds of stuff on my own, but things that I'm not 100% on, I need help, and then it takes really long time to get that help. And I've got this guitar kit. It's a Telecaster, and I'm just going to run through stuff because this is the end of the stream. Sorry to the viewers for not fully explaining it. I'm going to have reverse wound, reverse polarity on the 2 single coil pickups, and I'm on a way to tap them to where I change the parallel or serial, and then I want to have a pickup in the middle. And I had this idea 3 years before Fender came out with their own guitar doing the same thing, but Fender did it with something that I don't think they'll ever do, and that I want to use a Parsons Street. I can't remember the name of the pickup, but it's fatter, the one they were developing before they came out with the dual one.
You're talking about the pickup that you could switch. Basically, there's one pickup, and you could switch to like different. I think 3 different settings on one pickup. It's a dual one.
No. Well, imagine you've got your 2 pickups like this, right? One straight to the strings, and one's at like an angle, and they're single coil. And you can have a switch where you can switch between parallel and serial in those. All right.
Yeah. That's
put those to the side. Those are independent from this, except for their output goes together to go out of the guitar. Now, the other pickup is one of those fat ones that they came out before they came out with the dual coil.
2. Yeah. The 2. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. My one of my guitars actually has that. It's a Fender Strat. You would like it. I need to show it to you.
What's the pickup called?
I don't know the name of it, but my company sells. I don't know if it's that.
I have the pickup. I have the pickup. I bought the wrong one because someone told me you need to get what's called Fender spacing, where the poles are farther apart. Because what I want to do is, you got your Telecaster, your one straight one, and your other one that's at an angle, and I want this one. Oh, it's called a P90. It just came to me. A P90 pickup.
Okay, the P90 is a inspiration from a humbucker and a blues bar, and that's what basically.
Yeah, you're right. And it was Fender trying to develop something, and it was the one I want is like the 2nd or 3rd iteration they had from way back in the 50s. I already have it. It took me forever to find it. Another guy. But so you got these 2 pickups, and I want my P90 to be this way. And now, number one, I want the P90 because it's a hotter pickup, right? And now, put thumbtacks and all those things. Now think of a Stratocaster with 3 pickups that has, instead of having volume, tone, you have volume, tone, blend. You're familiar with that?
Yeah. My Fender has that. My Strat has a blend. It's freaking awesome. I have 3. My Switch is 3, so I can actually do 3 settings on my Switch.
So what I want is that P90 to be on the blend knob.
I'll tell you how to do this.
Yep.
That's how you do it. So my Fender Strat's a custom, and what they did is the 3 switch, the little looks like the zipper that you switch, right? Then the knobs. You need to get your guitar to where the knobs, the tuning and stuff, where you tone it up, like the volume, will go up and down. It's a switch they put in, and they make the volume. Yes. So Fender, that's what my Fender has, and that's how I'm able to play my.
So my idea is you take the Telecaster knob plate, right, and you drill a 3rd hole.
Yes.
And then so now you have volume, tone, blend. But then I want 2 of these knobs to be it's a little bit different. Instead of push-pull, it's called dual concentric.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, neither have I.
That some cars have it, where you have a knob on top of a knob.
Oh, I get what you're talking about. Now I get it. Yeah.
And that's for other features, like I want to have a black ice in there.
Okay.
But I'm going to do a homemade black ice and experiment with. Look at this shit. You're going to cry from happiness.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Scott, get ready.
I'm ready. Oh, look at your kit. Yeah, you have everything.
These are
Where's
all the
your-
different caps, and these are all germanium transistors from Russia.
Oh, nice, nice.
So I want to have two dual concentrics. One of them blends in the germanium, and another one blends in silicon.
Right.
And I reached out to like 3 different companies. How do I wire this? Because at first they're like, hey, I want to do some custom wiring on a guitar kit I'm building. They're like, sure, whatever you want. Just tell us what you need, and we'll tell you if we can build it. And I told them about this story, and they just like, tumbleweeds, no response at all.
You have to go to you have to go online, look up custom guitar, like private guitar shop and entities that will be able to basically do it, because that's a specialty job. A lot of guitar companies won't even really want to mess with that, because it just the time and the money it's going to cost you as a person to basically
Yeah,
pay for.
well, I'm the kind of person that's like, shut up and take my money.
Right. That
Well-
can be me. That can honestly be me in certain circumstances too. It just depends.
I would go online and go to Guitar. I know Guitar Center has a custom shop, and they're super, super good, but it's obviously not in store. You have to mail it in, and they'll do it, but I don't know how much money it would cost.
You know what you should do, Scott, is subscribe to my channel, and then whenever you see me do a guitar video, whenever I get back around to doing some more,
Well,
be a heavy commenter. Be like Halo, put 3, 5, 10 comments on the same video.
Those are like
Same.
the other. I watched 3 videos, and the first 2 were the guitar ones, and I was like, "Oh wow, I like his guitar. Like setup, okay." And your style of playing is good. And Halo wants to learn guitar. I've been dying.
At some point, yeah.
He has a guitar, by the way. Halo has a guitar. I've been dying to get him on the stream where I can play guitar with him and just do something like that. And you have guitars. Ooh, what is that? What was that? I saw
A guitar off, basically a guitar off. Look at that.
Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that.
This is my current most favoritist, bestest guitar ever.
I like it. I want to play it.
It's acoustic electric. It's fiberglass body. I don't know what kind of wood top it is. It's a little mute plug for when I'm using an amp. I can be 5 feet away.
You need to do doing a guitar stream. When I get my streaming room more set up, my plan is to have a guitar spot out here so I can play guitar. But you know, I have too many guitars like you, so it's like which ones do I want to play? And I haven't.
Do you sing?
No.
Okay.
I can rap and play guitar. That's about it. Maybe I could.
Can you rap and play guitar at the same time?
I can. But I can do Halo.
That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool, right?
Halo's heard me play guitar, but he's never heard me rap it and play it at the same time. So,
If
yeah.
you guys want to hear a tiny bit about my musical style, if I really get back into it, it would be amazing to have other YouTubers and viewers enjoy it. But I spent a lot of years from 2004 all the way up to so it's only like 6 years, 2010. But I made an album in 2008, and I would just take free loops off the internet and cut them up and move them around until the software I used, called Acid, allowed you to change the timing signature in the middle of the song. And that was like taking the training wheels off and realizing I could turn faster now, right?
Yeah.
Because people don't talk in 4/4. Like you hear everybody talking, we pause, we slow down, we speed up. But that speed isn't always tempo. Sometimes it's timing signature. And I did that for a few years, and I made that album in 2008. Around the same time, I got a guitar for Christmas. And then I still had inspiration from stuff in my life at the time. Oh, thank you, JJ64. I hope so, too. He says he hopes I do more music.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
So what happened was I still had inspiration, so I wrote a few more songs, and when I started putting them into the software, Acid, which is, by the way, from the same developer as Vegas, which is why I went to Vegas, so it would be familiar, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, what timing is this? I don't even know what timing this is. And the song that Halo listened to, called Never Is a Long Time, is in 3/4 and 5/4. I wrote that on this.
That's dope.
And I was like, what is my brain? Right?
A musical maestro that just needs to awaken more his musical potential.
Yep.
Halo, where's your guitar at? Do you still even?
It's put away right this second, but I can't wait to get it fixed eventually.
Yeah, he has a nice guitar, and it's.
I have a guitar that kind of, I don't know, like an SG. Doesn't it look like an SG?
The Jazzicaster bass. Oh,
Now,
That's really cool.
This is a bass guitar that I wanted for a couple years. Ever after explaining to a musician what kind of style I have and the problems I have getting the right tone of bass in my music, it's like, you need a PJ because you need a precision and a jazz that you can blend.
That's awesome.
And this is just a Squire, so it's cheap. But someone got it for me for my birthday.
Is it bolt-on or is it a bolt-on neck? It is. It is it.
Yeah, I prefer I prefer bolt-on for my bends.
Me too.
When I'm bending, when I and you'll even hear me doing on the bass occasionally. Like, you hear the whoa whoa whoa, and I'm just doing
from bending the neck. Yep, from bending the neck. Hello. I did not know Robert had a collection of just like.
Yeah, Robert's into guitars a lot, actually, just like you are.
He's pulling them out like I should be doing that, but I don't have them out here.
Here's my first acoustic electric.
That's beautiful.
I like the stickers.
Yeah, that's electrical tape. You love that?
I do. I think that's awesome. That looks great.
And this one, it needs a setup. Ever since I broke that string in 2019, honestly, I'll share with everybody. I got a little depressed in 2019. I had a roommate that was treating me like crap, and they ended up moving out and not paying the rent.
Bunch of assholes, dude.
And then I'm trying to get over that, and then 2020 happened.
And then 20.
Oh. You're playing your problems away.
I was. Yep. I was trying, but I was like, this one. When I saw this one,
that I love. That one I would. Yes, that's my style.
That's actually really cool. I like that a lot.
And this is a Washburn WI-14, and when I saw this in Music Go Round, I only had one word to say.
What?
Mine.
Getting this now.
I want that guitar too. No lie.
Washburns are nice. Those are nice guitars. Look at the pickups. Okay.
So
nice pickups
this one, this is the first one I did a full setup on when it got the frets were frouting and cutting my hands.
Yeah.
And I did a slight bevel on the fretboard. You can see it?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
It's barely there, and the reason why I do that is for my bends, obviously, so that my fingernails will stop catching in the wood. And at the same time, I did something that I had to figure out how to do, and it took me a few weeks to figure out. I stained the inlays blue.
Nice, so you can see them.
Well, I eventually I want to strip the body and paint this star on it.
Okay.
So the inlay I used, I can't remember. It's Rit dye. Oh, Rit dye and the stuff you use to clean guitars. That if you leave it on, it eats it.
Yes.
So I mixed the two together, and they didn't want to mix. So then I put it in the microwave, and they still didn't want to mix. So then I used one of my things I learned doing keto recipes, which is sunflower lecithin. Liquid sunflower lecithin is an emulsifier. And I tried it, and it made the mix, but the microwaving it made it go through the plastic cup, so then I used glass.
God.
And then what I would do is I'd keep going back and forth, and I touched it with an eyedrop. I would sand it so that the inlay was rough. Right. And then use an eyedropper of that blue shit and leave it on 2 days and then come and sand it again. And I repeat that. I did that for 2 weeks until they looked like this.
Yeah,
Just amazing. Just a little bit of effort and patience and figuring stuff out. And I want to get the zebra style on the pickups. You know what that is? Where you got each coil is a different color. And I want to do I want to do blue, white, and I want to strip the paint and then get black on it and then get silver. What's that dust called? Glitter.
Okay.
So it looks like stars.
Yeah.
Once that sets up, mask it, paint the blue star, and then clear coat it.
Yeah. You know what is really good?
Anyways, you guys, I got to get going right now, unfortunately.
I can
I
stay
do
on.
too.
I can
May
stay.
as well do.
If you and Robert want to close the rest of this while I get going right now, then we can definitely do that. Is that something you want to do, Scott?
My wife and me gotta eat some dinner before fart nikers.
All right. Well, you know what, Robert, before we head out, is there anything else you would like to say?
On your channels where you're doing articles, or on your videos where you do articles or you're talking about predators, I learned this from some famous YouTubers because when I watch YouTube, I pay attention to their styles and how they get engagement.
Yes.
I learned this from Russell Brand by seeing how he does his videos. What you want to do is say, I'm seeing this predator do this, or I'm seeing this person in this article is saying this. Does this mean blah, blah, blah? Or does it mean blah, blah, blah? Why don't you tell me? He doesn't even say tell me in the comments. He just says, why don't you tell me? And then he says, after that, he says, how I feel is this. And then he goes right on to the next topic, like without skipping a beat. So just a recommendation because I noticed some of your videos.
Exactly what you mean.
I
see exactly what you mean.
Some of your videos, you got tons of engagement, and others you don't. I'm like, I don't get it.
Right.
It might be because you're uploading multiple videos a day, and you're supposed to upload one a day. Because if you upload multiple videos a day, they only appear as one notification for your viewer.
I did not know that.
Yep.
I'm going to have to start trying that then. I'll start posting at least one a day then if I can space them out like that. Well, other times though too, I've uploaded multiple and it's like what the audience wants to watch as well too, type of thing too.
I'm actually jealous you can do multiple because if I did that, I would probably only edit 2 days a week, upload them all, and then schedule them to where they would come out on different days.
Yeah, I think that's what I really need to do.
Because it's not, some of your viewers watch them that day. Some of your viewers don't. Like me personally, I look at the subscription and I leave not the subscription, the notification. And I leave the notification on my phone sitting there. And then when I go to do something, I'm like, there's a Halo one. There's this one from this other one. Which one do I want to watch right now? I want to watch that one. Right? Or you got the little notification on the PC. You can scroll through it.
I'll definitely get back to you on that. But Robert, thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it. And for you joining us for Inner Circle once again. We will see you next time on another episode of Inner Circle. And thank you so much, Scott, as well, for tuning in.
Yeah. I'm going to go make some food. I'm hungry.
Yes, Robert, I'll talk to you soon, okay? Thank you so much.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye.